everyone, and welcome again to Leaders Uncut. It's so great to have you with us today. Today, it's my great pleasure to have with us Dan Cosgrove, who is just an incredible individual that's doing something so critical nowadays in our life and for our world and for our health. So, Dan, welcome. So great to have you with us today here.
Catherine, thank you so much for having me as well. It's going to be a fun conversation, so I look forward to it.
It is. So Dan, you spent over a decade at Procter Gamble, Berkshire Hathaway, and Nike. My God, big names. Before you broke away to focus on your passion, that is healthcare. And you had a first healthcare company you started that broke 2.5 million in under 2 years. Wow, congrats. It's pretty amazing. And now you are really on a mission to close the American healthcare gap in care, coverage, and cost. Your nonprofit Wellness for the Workforce was just recognized by Procter Gamble as one of the top 10 companies run by P&G alumni. So my God, Dan, this is obvious that your purpose here is to close the healthcare gap. So I can't wait. Of course, I'm curious. I can't wait to hear more about what motivated you to start Wellness for the Workforce. What gap did you see in workplace wellness that you felt needed to be addressed?
Yeah, for sure. If I took a step back, it actually, I am a son of a German lawyer named Ilsa, and so as Germans, we tend to be very focused on times, and so as evidenced by the fact that I'm 3 years and 20 days apart in birth from my sister, who's 3 years and 20 days apart from my oldest brother. So anyhow, I had originally set a goal when I graduated my undergrad that I wanted to start my own thing. It was at 10 years and 1 month that I took a package from Nike. So I was 1 month off on my long-term goal that I had created after undergrad. And my passion's always kind of been in the healthcare space because it just more aligns with my purpose of helping people.
Yeah.
But it really kind of gave me a kick out the door because when I was at Nike, that was when COVID was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And being in marketing, what we were focusing on was creating the storytelling and emotionally connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
And during COVID, especially during COVID, mental health was at major issues. People, anxiety and depression were at all-time highs. People were searching for a sense of being oneself.
Yeah.
And guess what? We created some really good marketing strategies and tactics and campaigns and advertisements that I'm sure many people have seen. And our sales hit record highs. And, it felt good, because we were hitting our numbers and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it felt kind of disingenuous as well, because we might make people feel good for one day when they get that new pair of shoes in the mail. But on day two, they're going to feel like crap again.
Yeah.
So that's where it's just like, okay, well, I had set this goal 10 years ago that I wanted to break away, and I'm passionate about trying to help people, and we see a big gap going on in the mental health space. I want to try and do something about it. Well, being fully knowledgeable that I have no skill set, my wife will be the first one to tell you this, of being able to sit in a room and listen to somebody talk to me about their feelings for 60 minutes. Like, it's just not my skill set. I can do business pretty much any day, but there's a reason why there's psychiatrists, psychologists, and therapists out there. Like, they go to school, they're there to emotionally connect with people and nurture them back to their own mental health and well-being.
Mm-hmm.
But commonly with a lot of those individuals that I just listed off, they don't like running businesses and they don't like dealing with the annoyances of trying to deal with insurance and marketing themselves, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's where I come from, a business background. I'm used to living that day in, day out. So I started a mental health company. We're called Mental Health Matters. And what's beautiful about that is when you hire great people, you give them autonomy. Like, we really only have a few rules. It's use good judgment in all that you do. And if your patient wants to be seen in person, you see them in person. If not, you can do virtual. So if you give them autonomy and just tell them like, hey, these are the requirements of working full-time versus part-time here, adults tend to actually act like adults then. And so that freed me up because, when you're working in a small business, we've all seen the statistics. The majority of small businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Yep.
So I was looking into this and I was like, okay, well, we're growing our revenue well, but we also need to make sure we control our expenses. And for most, the CPAs and accountants that I talk to, the second biggest line item they find at companies is right below, salary and wages is healthcare expenses. So that's where, of course, I went. I'm just like, all right, this is the second biggest line item. It's occupying for most people about 12% of their total OpEx. What's going on here? And so when you really start to peel the onion on it, you see how broken our healthcare system is. Evidenced by, my former bosses at Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett has said it himself, and Charlie Munger, of saying the healthcare industry is entirely broken. Like, people are incentivized to do the wrong thing, and they're really talking about insurance companies and insurance brokers that make more money based on encouraging you to overpay on various healthcare coverages.
Yep.
So that, I know I just went off on a spiel, but that got us to how Wellness for the Workforce started. Is I was just a business owner trying to survive with my other business, and I figured out how broken our healthcare system is, and I figured out a solution for it. So I figured most people wanted to actually have that solution so that they can stay sustainable too.
Oh, thank you. That's great. And that makes complete sense. I mean, it's interesting, the timing. Yesterday, my healthcare insurance just sent me a message saying, hey, just wanted to let you know that prices have gone up. Check out everything and gone up 20%. And I'm thinking, wow. I mean, it feels like it never stops.
Correct.
So, right. I mean, this is scary. How can people afford that? This is why a lot of people don't even have healthcare coverage anymore.
Yeah, it's really wild to think about it. And yeah, that 20% number doesn't shock me at all. Because, as you probably have seen, the subsidies are, for a lot of people, are going away at the start of 2026. So when that occurs, and what I mean by that is for a lot of smaller businesses or independent operators, they would use the marketplace in the respective state. And originally, it was if you were making 400% of the poverty level or lower, you would qualify for a subsidy. Well, there's extensions above that where you could have people earning like $200,000 a year that could still get a subsidy. And that's nowhere close to it, because at the federal poverty level limit, if you're single earning like $62,000 a year, that's 400% above FPL. If you're like a family of three earning like $105,000 a year, that's 400% above FPL. So what we're seeing in the state healthcare marketplace, and Catherine, I'm sure you guys are doing well, which is why your costs are going to go up. Your subsidies are going to go away. And then if you're in good health, you're just like, okay, I'm about to face a 25% increase. I'm just going to drop my insurance. I'm going to find an alternative that isn't in the state marketplace.
Yep.
So now state marketplaces, in order for them to cover their expenses, they have to increase the costs on everyone. So yeah, it's called the health insurance death spiral. It happens to employers as well. It's now going to happen in individual places.
But it is terrible. I mean, it's really hard to even understand the problem in a country that is the richest country in the world.
Yep.
It just makes no sense. I mean, very often, I am from France, and I see people that are from France that live in the US that are still French citizens.
Yeah,
they go to France to be taken care of. I mean, this is what works, and it's terrible. Or they just take care of themselves. This is why when we have solutions like what you have here, it's it has great value. So how do you define workplace wellness? What are the critical components of that?
Yeah. Honestly, it's just a culture of having contrarian thinking, of believing that we deserve to have a better healthcare system here in America. And that employers and the respective HR organizations have to feel empowered to make changes that are against the status quo. Like we are not there to be your cookie cutter offering to most companies. We are going to go in there. We're going to challenge all their preconceived notions that they've been spoon-fed for the last 20 to 30 years. And guess what? A lot of people, they don't want to be told that for the last 20 to 30 years, they've been getting screwed over.
I know.
So yeah, I would say really what we're doing, you blend like a healthcare benefits provider with almost like a tax attorney or CPA. And so historically speaking, those two industries don't communicate with each other. So we're kind of that niche that blends those two things together. So we try to use tax codes to benefit the healthcare side.
Okay, that makes sense. It makes complete sense. So can you describe some of the signature programs or services that you offer?
Yeah.
That would be interesting to understand, and the process, because people, I'm sure, are interested, but then they wonder, okay, how do I transition to something like that, right?
Yeah. And we've got so many different solutions. So like
Yeah.
I would say the audience we cater to is small to medium sized businesses that are typically privately held. We can help publicly held companies, but truthfully, there's just so much more red tape, 20,000 cooks in the kitchen. It's just a longer process. And
Yeah.
our goal is to help people immediately,
Mm.
not take 20 months for them to make a decision. So yeah, this audience is really geared toward small to medium sized businesses. Um, yeah, and depending upon what they're dealing with right now, we've got different solutions. But I'd say one of the main ones that we have, it's a 125 plan. So a section 125. And what I mean by that is if any employer or employee has ever had an HSA or an FSA, that is a 125.
Okay.
So just to kind of give some connections to it.
Right. Right.
So we have a 125 that is very similar to that.
Okay.
We just call it a healthcare concierge and advocacy plan, or an HCA.
Okay.
The the legal terminology is like it's a flexible benefit plan, or a hospital indemnity plan, but like nobody likes thinking about hospital. So this is where we brand it to something a little bit more positive thinking. But the beauty of that plan is truthfully, it can be augmented at any point or implemented at any point in time in the year.
Oh.
Whereas most companies, they're waiting for their annual insurance renewal period,
Yeah.
historically
Yeah.
January 1. Well, yeah, you can put this in place right now, or you can put it in place in March
Nice.
or August. It really doesn't matter. Um, so that plan, and it doesn't replace health insurance. So I'll be clear on that one. So this plan augments it. It complements anything that you have, whether you have health insurance or you don't have health insurance. But the real benefit to it is it's focused more on preventative health care.
Okay.
Because here in America, we've already seen it. Like we continue to increase the deductibles people have to pay before they have any kind of cost sharing with the insurance company.
Yeah.
Well, what does that typically do? It means more people never go see the doctor.
Yeah.
And when they have that little symptom, it would have been really nice if they would have gone and seen that doctor because they could have stopped that little symptom before it turns into a major issue.
Yeah. True.
And that's why in America, we spend about $4.5 trillion a year on chronic care conditions alone.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
our main program is focused on preventative healthcare, and we just so happen to use the tax codes to actually make it self-funded. So employers that actually offer this to their employees, they actually save about $500 to $600 a year per employee. That's on the low side. Some can save up to 2 to 3K a year, and employees will save money too. So like, yeah, we use the tax codes, and it sounds wild, but yeah, we use tax codes to actually incentivize employers to offer a preventative healthcare program for their employees to use, because then in theory, those employees will use that because it doesn't bill insurance. It's $0 copays. It's available for them, their wife, their kids up to the age of 26, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And it then helps us get more focus on addressing the symptoms before they start, versus how our current healthcare system is structured to be more like a sick care system.
Okay, got it. Well, I mean, it sounds amazing. So you're focusing, you said, on small businesses, so individuals cannot take advantage of what you have?
On the plan that I just explained there, they can't take advantage of it because our threshold, you have to have at least 10 employees.
Okay.
We really say 10 to 2,500. That's really kind of the range there in being privately held.
Okay.
If they're sub 10, we've got plans for them. We've got an entirely different marketplace for those types of individuals. And those people, so long as they're healthy, I'd really encourage it. Because as you just mentioned, your rates are going up 20%. A lot of business owners that are probably going to listen to it, their rates are going up as well.
Yeah.
Because fortunately for them, they don't fall under the 400% federal poverty limit. So that means they're doing well in life, but it does mean they're about to be overcharged for their health insurance.
Yeah.
And so we do have plans for that too.
Okay. So, I mean, getting employees to engage with wellness programs can be sometimes a challenge, right? So, have you found any type of strategies that are more effective to increase participation and then sustain engagement?
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about the user experience.
Yeah.
So like our medical provider that we have, it's app based, and as more generations become digitally savvy, it
Yeah.
makes it pretty easy for them.
Right.
So like people can check on the App Store or on Trustpilot, like we're rated 4.9 or 4.8 stars, something like that. And what kind of makes us uniquely different than the insurance carriers out there that are building their own virtual healthcare solutions, the user experience and interface, we were built digital first. whereas these other groups have been around for multiple decades. And so they are more brick and mortar and they're forcing themselves into digital. So the first part is just making it like an Amazon-like experience
Yeah.
where legitimately with one click, I can have a doctor on the phone and I can text my doctor. I can do all these things. Hell, I can even actually check my heart rate variability, my blood pressure, my stress index, my oxygen levels, you name it. Like I can do a 60-second facial scans right here on my phone via my app. So like when you have those types of features available, people are more inclined to use it.
Yeah.
And then you parallel that with we also try to give like educational information. So on a weekly basis, our medical team is going to send out every member an email on various things going on. And we try to tie it to the types of season. So, in the summer, heat stroke becomes more common. So we try to again help people understand the early signs and symptoms of heat stroke so that they can avoid it. Or in the winter, it might be, well, a lot of people get the winter blues or seasonal affective disorder. So how you can properly cope with that. Because again, if we're doing a preventative thing, then that's going to stop something that could become much worse later on.
Of course. I mean, that's critical, right? I mean, also, I mean, that what you're doing makes complete sense because more and more people also work from home,
Yep,
right?
correct.
So how has that rise of remote and hybrid work changed your approach? Has that had any type of influence on your strategy and your overall positioning?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, it's actually made it stronger.
Yeah.
So like we know COVID was a terrible thing. There's very few positive things that came out of COVID. But if there's one positive, like silver lining thing that came out of COVID, is that we found that roughly 80% of medical needs now could be done virtually.
80%.
80%, yeah.
Wow.
So don't get me wrong. My wife and I are expecting our next kid. That's never going to be solved virtually. So like you will still need doctors for in-person visits. But I'll give you a primary example. Like I mentioned before we started recording, I've got a golden retriever that I've been playing fetch with now every day, seemingly for the last 4 years. And so you mix that in with the fact that I've been carrying around a toddler for the last 3 years. My right arm is basically ready to fall off. Like it feels like the equivalent of like I need Tommy John surgery. And
I know.
so I was meeting with my doctors virtually, and we did some physical therapy, and it still wasn't working. So it's like, all right, we're gonna have to send you in for an MRI. It's like, all right, well, this will be fun. So I do have health insurance, of course. And there's, all right, we're looking at your health insurance. Here is like the 3 or 4 different places that we can send you to get an MRI. And here's the projected cost. Like you go to this one for $250, this one for $1,000. Which one do you want? And of course, like it's helping me shop more effectively. I'm going to pick the one that's 250.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in there, I get the MRI done because that one can't be solved virtually. So I did have to physically go in, but the MRI is done. They don't have their doctors there, though, interpret the MRI results.
No.
They send it back to my medical team, and my medical team is going to interpret the results for me.
Right.
So the only expense I actually paid for there was the physical MRI. Everything else, the interpretation of results, the medical advice that I am also getting charged for if I did an in-person visit, that would be much more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we always say we can blend a lot of healthcare experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You could even use, like for instance, again, having a toddler, they always bring home different diseases from school.
Yeah.
And so like I somehow got a thumb infection. And it's like 6:30 at night, so we know most medical practices are closed. And I was like, all right, this thing is actually really starting to hurt and starting to swell. So I just did my virtual call with them. I called them up. They're just like, yeah, this looks bad. Send us a few pictures. They troubleshoot it. It's like, yeah, you've got this thing. This can easily be treated with antibiotics. Is this your pharmacy that you still go to? I said, yep. And they wrote my prescription. And after I put my kid down to sleep, I went off, picked up my prescriptions, and it cost me nothing. So it's just much more convenient
Yeah.
because in today's on-the-go lifestyle that a lot of people live,
Yeah.
or you got some people that are working like 2 jobs just to make ends meet, they
2 or
don't
3
have
jobs. Yeah.
time. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
So they don't have time to take care of their healthcare in a more traditional way of like scheduling time, going to the doctor's office, sitting in the waiting room, then getting hit with a copay, then getting some medical advice and being told to come back in 2 weeks.
I
Like
know. I know.
most people don't follow up with that.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of our difference here is like it's more
Mm.
on-demand, immediate access.
Mm-hmm. That makes complete sense. So how is adoption going, and where do you see adoption happening faster than other sectors?
Yep. So adoptions, it's going. I would still say if you're thinking about the adoption curve from a bell curve perspective, we're
Right.
still in the early adopters phase.
Yeah.
And the reason, so that's in your what, 15 to 18% range.
Yeah.
The reason you're getting that, it's more so of helping just the business owners and HR business partners get a better understanding of how you can compliantly structure these programs so that employees can take advantage of it. Like once they understand how you can do it compliantly, then they're all on board, and then you can get your employees signed up for it.
Makes
So,
sense.
so yeah, the bigger issue is not necessarily um, helping the employees understand it, because once the employer understands how they can do it compliantly, they're all aboard.
Hmm.
Now, as far as like the industries that are most beneficial, again, privately held, where we've historically found better performance, it tends to be more nonprofits or blue collar, think logistics, warehousing, manufacturing, because the retail, because those companies or industries are on thinner profit margins than say like a tech company.
That's right.
So
That's right.
we can
Yeah.
still help tech companies, and we
Yeah.
have some in our portfolio. We can still help the financial advisory firms out there, and we have a lot of them in our portfolio because they actually turn around and sell it to the clients. But yeah, our core focus might be more groups that have just more manpower and are lower margins.
Got it. That which makes complete sense. Yeah. So how does it work? You say we can sign up at any time during the year. It doesn't matter when
Yep.
you register to your service.
Yep.
Where do people have to go to first connect with you, get information, and then eventually become one of your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can send you some more stuff afterwards so you can
Yeah.
like link it in the show notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wellnessfortheworkforce.com is our website.
Yeah.
They can also email just our general email address of info@wellnessfortheworkforce.com. Somebody from our team will then get back with them and walk them through the steps. But historically speaking, depending upon how fast they want to move, I would advise we have a quick first 15-minute call, just to understand their situation because we've described one solution. We've got a plethora of solutions. So it's not one size fits all. But after that call, we'd probably have an understanding of what would probably be the right fit. From there, we'd have to do an actually verification or validation of like, yes, they have this many employees, this how many employees would qualify, this is how we would roll it out, etc. Then, assuming they would want to move forward on it, it's all the fun legal terms and conditions people have to sign on to with any type of plan. So we move into that, and then implementation is run by our team.
Okay.
So we try to do a lot of the heavy lifting. We can't do all of it, but I'd say we can do about 80% of the legwork for a respective organization.
Got it. And then you cover any state, right?
Yeah, we're in all 50 states plus Puerto Rico.
Okay, perfect. So what do you think well, not do you think? I'm sure you know what are your business goals for the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, you are really pioneering that sector with completely new offering. It's a real disruption
Yep.
to the way healthcare has been managed up to now. So do you have any new upcoming programs, partnerships, expansions that we should be looking for?
I can't disclose them yet. But I will say there are some very good things on the horizon.
Okay.
And yeah, what I like about this, when we were originally starting to talk about these programs several years ago, people were just thinking you were speaking a foreign language. They're just like, what the hell is this? And as each year progresses, more people start to understand it, which means there's more competition entering the
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
I actually welcome competition because that actually just further substantiates what we're talking about is not crazy talk, it's actually real.
Mhm.
So I welcome more competition coming in here because at the end of the day, we would love to be able to serve every single American, but we also recognize there's bandwidth. Just like every insurance company, I'm sure would want to serve every single American, but there's a reason why there's so many different insurance companies. So I welcome the competition because that only further shows that this is here to stay.
Mhm.
But yes, we've got some good partnerships on the horizon that I just cannot
Okay.
disclose yet as they have not gone live.
Okay.
But yeah, January 1, 2026, there should be more news.
Yeah, great. Well, that's great. And I'm sure you that would be your answer, right? You're always thinking ahead, and which is of course critical. You always have to broaden up your scope. So you've been, of course, a businessman for years. You've been an entrepreneur. And lots of people now are changing the way they think about making money. They don't want a 9 to 5 job. A lot of them, they are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. So what lessons have you learned, and what type of advice would you have to give to someone who's thinking about changing the way they work, the way they live their life, and maybe starting their own business?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things I thought of is, a lot of people stay in their W-2 jobs and by the way, if you love your W-2 job, stay in your W-2 job. Like
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it. But don't have the belief that you should stay in your W-2 job because it's less risky. Because you can look around. There's a website that actually shows corporate layoffs and tracking that. It is a much bigger risk, in my opinion, especially as you get at an older age, they'll find a different way to get rid of
yep,
people from a company.
yep.
But it's much riskier to stay at a W-2 job than to actually take that leap of faith and run your own thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I that's kind of like been the biggest preconceived notion that I had to shift on of like, yes, I need to build a safety net before I lift off and leave a steady paycheck. But I also have to recognize that um, eh, yeah, it's a much safer play for me now. And I've made it through, if you were talking to me a few years ago when legitimately I took no income for a few years, that's a different story.
Oh
But
yeah,
now when you look at what the income is, it's 10x what it was at a W-2.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just a different story. But you have to be a long-term thinker. You have to understand what risk is in your personal risk appetite.
Mm-hmm,
And, and then most importantly, you go into something that you're actually passionate about.
mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a passion for it, you're going to get burnt out the moment you have any initial barriers.
Yeah,
Say, oh yeah, you can't do this. This is impossible, etc.
yeah.
And believe me, with the programs we were just talking about, we had a lot of barriers.
Oh, I'm sure. My God, I can imagine. I can only imagine that you, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not passionate about it, most people will shut down. So
Yeah.
just find what you're passionate about. Make sure it's a profitable passion, or find a way to make that passion profitable. But yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah, but that is true. Most people give up. This is why you have, I think the percentage is pretty high, right? About 80% of businesses. I mean,
Oh yeah,
we
within the
can
first 5 years
survive.
are done. Yeah,
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 because it takes a lot of you, and you have to have that passion. I really believe you're right, that that passion is what makes it allows us to keep pushing, because there will be barriers, there will be obstacles. That's inevitable.
yep, yep,
And only those who survive are the ones that have a passion but also have a
yep.
vision that will change the world. This is what you're doing here. This is why I absolutely love this, and I'm happy we're talking about this, because you're in a sector where people are suffering.
Yep.
It's not just physical suffering, but it's mental suffering, and all of
Yep.
this is linked together, which is critical going forward, because we want our children to have better solutions than what we have right now.
Yep. Yep. Correct. We want them to have better solutions than what they have now. And I mean, you look at it, the millennial and the Gen Z generation are actually, in theory, poorer than their parents' generation.
Yeah,
Um, it looks like they're making more money, but the expenses have been exceedingly higher.
yeah.
So there's got to be a change to it. And I mean, healthcare is big business. It's strayed very far away from the original days when they were nonprofit organizations just trying to help people, in times of need. So, whenever something of that magnitude is that broken, there's plenty of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so for other people looking to, start their own thing, look where there's challenges and figure out a good solution for it and then stay committed to it. Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
commit, don't quit is what a lot of entrepreneurs believe. Like you just can't quit when things get tough.
No, 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 you're right. So anyway, why I really encourage everyone to get to know you, because I think that would be probably the first barrier is
Yep.
trust. When you don't know someone, it's, can I trust that, right? Is it going to be approved by other government entities? I mean, these are all questions I would imagine people have when they talk to
Uh-huh.
you the first time, right?
100%. Yeah. And we always encourage them, do your due
Yeah,
diligence.
yeah.
And we've got plenty of materials we can give them so that they can do their due diligence,
Good,
the
good,
good
good.
and the bad. But yeah, end of the day, everything is a relationship, and you have to have that credibility and trust established with people.
That's true. It all starts
So
there.
we never try to go in there on day one and say, hey, you should just buy this because we think it's the right thing.
Yeah.
No, we want them to understand every pros and cons to it, and I want them to understand how we are compensated. Like our model, we actually get paid based on the savings generated for clients.
Oh, okay.
Versus like in our industry, no, we're going to convince you to overpay on those health insurance premiums so that we can get a 5 to 10% cut of whatever that premium is. That's not us. We want to get paid based on savings generated because we want to have skin in the game to do the right thing.
I love it. That makes complete sense. Well, it's just amazing. It's highly needed, and I'm sure it's going to open the door to a lot of opportunities and allow people to feel safer also, because when we know that we cannot be taken care of, that our health could be in jeopardy, and we don't have the means to properly take care of it and have the preventative methods that will prevent potentially some major diseases that are very costly. So, I mean, it's a game changer. It really
Yep.
is.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So that's our goal. That's our mission, our purpose.
Congratulations. I applaud you for launching all of this. I'm really grateful. We look into this myself. And then, yeah, like I said, the world is open, but I think it's a critical area that would give people a lot more freedom, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, Catherine, I appreciate you bringing me on here. And yeah, I can send more information. But yeah, if people are interested in talking, just go to our site. They can hit the contact us or email us at info@wellnessfortheworkforce.com, and we'll be able to help them out one way or another.
Perfect. Well, we'll put all these links in the comments of this video. Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate your time today.
All right. Thanks, Catherine.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I encourage you to share this video. It will be published on YouTube as well as on LinkedIn. Share with the people you know, and share on your network, because I'm sure you're going to find a lot of companies that are looking for solutions like that, and we don't even know a solution like this exists. So when you share, you can potentially change their life and help them cover themselves, cover their employees, and have a better healthcare solution altogether. So it's major, it's very important, and I count on you to spread that information as much as you can. Thank you again for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate this. That helps us continue what we are doing. And we will see you next time.